I'm Erik, Williston's town manager, and this has been a project over 3 years in the making, and really beyond that, as the town has grown and its residents have grown and its public service needs have also grown in our community. So Williston has invested in its public infrastructure and its facilities over the last couple of decades. New police and fire station, new highway garage about 10 years ago. And now the town's in a place where it wants to look into its community spaces moving forward. So this effort started in the end of 2022, and we had some money invested utilizing ARPA funds, federal funds, to really help us answer this fundamental question of community spaces moving forward. We knew the library was bursting at the seams, and we needed to think about space needs for the library. We also exploring the concept of a community center, a community recreation center, and other gathering spaces in town. So out of that effort, we formed a steering committee. We brought in Black River Design and their professional architecture team to help guide this effort. And this group met, surveyed residents, over 1,000 residents responded, and we looked at 3 fundamental areas. With a new building that would be a new library and community center all in one, 2 brand new buildings, or the concept that was recommended where we are today, renovating and expanding our existing library and the town green it sits on, and exploring keeping that in the village, and exploring in our growth center around Taft Corners the concept of a community center, and that project's a little further down the road. So our focus right now is looking at our library project and our library needs, and in our project we designed here, keeping it in the village, how to move this project to the next step with the bond being considered by the voters.
Right. And this proposal is very much coming from the results of those community surveys. It was extremely clearly stated through that process that the folks in town really wanted the library to stay right here on the green, right next to the school building.
I was going to say, or unless you want to add something. What we talked a little bit about it before, but what were some of those needs that the community illustrated? What did they want to see coming out of their new library?
I'm Kevin Unrath. I'm the library director, and I think the #1 need that was expressed was we don't have enough space. So that capacity, since the last edition was put on, Williston's population has grown 50%. Usage of the library has grown by 92%. We actually have the most programs of any library of our size across the state of Vermont. We have the 2nd most circulation, but when you look at our peer libraries, we're 8 out of 10 in terms of the amount of space we have. So every time we add a book to the collection, we have to take a book out. We also don't have space for the meetings that people want to have. So we have 1 community meeting room. It's regularly overbooked. We have no small rooms where people can come and either do tutoring or work on schoolwork after school, or do a telehealth visit, or get out of their house if they're working from home and work from the library. So we have none of those spaces available. We're really bursting at the seams. So that capacity was the first thing. We've seen a library addition or expansion here in Williston about every 20 to 25 years, and we're going on almost 30 years now. So more space, but then also space that's more appropriate for how people use the library today. So it's not just a place for collections. As I mentioned before, it's a place for meetings, for people to be able to work from home or in small groups. We're also a space where all the generations from from babies that come to our baby story time to seniors that come to use the large print collection, and everyone in between, especially the school kids that come over after school. We're a place where all of these generations come together. So we have specific spaces that are designed for the way people use the library today. We have a wiggle room for the little ones to be able to come and play and learn about what it's like to be around books. We call that pre-literacy space. We have a create space that has 3D printers and other maker space functions for our teens and tweens that come in. There's 3 different meeting rooms, small meeting rooms, that'll be available for people to have small meetings or work on their own and have a door to close to be able to do that. And also a very large community room that can be divided into 2 spaces that'll seat more than 100, that'll be available after hours, so you'll be able to come in and use it even if the library isn't open. So it really adds not just space for another 20 to 25 years, but we're hoping more like 50 years of additional space. It's a multi-generational project.
Yeah, we went from the preferred alternative to look to renovate our library and expand our library on the green to having a schematic design committee led by our architectural consulting team. That committee was made up of library trustees and community members to really work with our professional designers to come up with the plan that is being considered at town meeting. And the thing that's really resonated with me through this process is the idea of the library as the community's living room. As Kevin described, there's so many different uses, and for every age group to use the space for.
Well, we see a lot of use here, so I wouldn't say there's any particular group that we don't see come in the library.
That's cool.
Yeah, we get folks from. It's just we don't really have the space right now to serve them in the way that's adequate with how much Williston has grown. So I wouldn't say there's a particular group that we don't see in the library. We see people from all walks of life. That's actually one of the amazing things about a library. We're one of the few spaces where people who, are of different generations, of different backgrounds, they come together and they happily coexist. They see each other. They come to programs together. They check out books, and they may be from different, political persuasions. They may be from very different walks of life, but the library really brings them together in a positive way. So, yeah.
So, talking a little bit more about the logistics of this project. People know about town meeting day and stuff, and how they're gonna. Can you say directly how are people going to allow this to happen? Not allow this to happen. How is this going to happen? When are people voting? What are they voting on specifically?
Yeah, so we're looking at a $13.9 million bond authorization. That's we feel the full amount of money that we need authorization for, and we have running in parallel with this a capital campaign for fundraising for the project. So we anticipate we want to have authorization for the full cost that we feel we need bond authorization for. Overall, the project's estimated about $14.5 million, so the town is putting some funds from its reserve funds into this project overall to decrease the amount of debt the town would need to take on. And then from there, as the capital campaign advances and we go to possible bond sale, we may be able to reduce that further. But we're seeking the authorization of $13.9 million in this bond on town meeting day on March 3rd. Early voting will start around the second week of February or so as well, so folks can cast their vote then or wait until town meeting day, the first Tuesday in March.
And that capital campaign, just to be clear, I think that was a great outline, will reduce the bond. So it's not going to add on to the $13.9 million. It's actually going to lower whatever the cost is. We have a goal set at $1.5 million. We're hoping to exceed that, but that's our goal, and that would further reduce the cost to taxpayers.
Yeah. We estimate, with that conservative estimate is maybe $10 more a month or so for a taxpayer should this bond pass to help for what that looks like. The $10 a month for the median assessed home in town.
Following on with that schedule that we just talked about for the voting is were the bond to pass, then the town would authorize. By the way, I'm John Hemmelgarn with Black River Design, so I'm the senior architect working on this project, and also a Williston resident. If that were to pass, we would then proceed with the construction documents and preparing the drawings and specifications for a bid. And we would then be ready to break ground the following spring. So as soon as the weather allows here, I could easily imagine that being during school break in April. So that would start then. And the way this project is set up is that because it's at the rear of this building, we'll be able to build the new portion first, while the existing portion of the building will remain in place and in operation. And once that's finished, then we get to move everything from the existing building into the new building, work with a building that's still about the same size, and then do the renovations to the existing building. And that would then be probably another year and a half at least from the time we break ground to when we're finished, 1.5 to 2 years of construction here on this site.
But the entire time there will be a functional.
There will be there will be a Dorothy Alling Memorial Library the entire time.
And we should mention, beyond just the scope of the library component is the town green. And as the design committee looked at this project, felt there's a real opportunity to look at the full space where we are. We're on this, in our village, in this green space. And the green space, there's an opportunity to refresh it, to revitalize it. We have a really active town band that uses the bandstand out there. They're so big they can't fit in there anymore, and they spread out on the lawn. We have just some accessibility challenges with how the paths are laid out. So this project scope also includes creating a new performance platform for concerts and the arts on the green, expanding these pathways and seating. And it also looks at traffic flow, and it adds some parking on the back side in front of the addition. Folks who are familiar with this area know around school drop-off and dismissal it gets very busy. This looks to add an additional turning lane. It improves overall parking, and it gives just better access to this overall town green gathering space, looking at the vegetation, because this is an extension of the community spaces, and there's an opportunity to include this as we look at our library at the same time.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. You guys are like doing better than I am with like,
We've been in it for 3 years.
We've been working on it a while. We've improved, in addition to the turning lane that's being added at the far end of the green, we are also eliminating the parking that's along Library Lane, which is a little dangerous right now because everyone has to back out into traffic there. And it's a conflict with the school traffic as well. So in the new proposed plan, there'll be a separate parking lot area for library use, and it eliminates that need to back out into the travel lane. So I think that's a huge safety improvement.
And I do have one other, we could probably talk for hours, I bet, but one other point. One of the things we heard in our scoping study and that I hear weekly is people love how cozy the library is. We really feel like you're walking into a library. I had a library professor tell me you should feel like you're getting a hug when you walk in a library. That's how it should feel. And this library has that. And part of the, I think, really smart design is that the addition is going on the back of the building. So this part of the building isn't going to change in terms of its footprint. It's still going to look the same as it did before, but you're going to see that there's more library back towards the school. And it's also about a half a floor down as you go towards the back. So the scope of the addition, even though it's 2 floors, really fits with the scale of the town in a way that doesn't kind of overwhelm. You don't feel like this is this brand new big building attached to an old building. It really all flows together in a nice way. There's a fireplace in the new building. There's lots of spaces that are kind of nooks and crannies where you can go and sit and read. So I think the design really, the intent of it is to keep that cozy feeling, even though it's going to add a lot of space, and I'm really happy to see that.
That's wonderful. I was going to say, do you want to add any more to that as like the architect?
Yeah, I do.
You plan on like keeping that visual?
Yes. Well, I'll start with the idea that that we heard so clearly that this building needed to be on this site, but that created some real challenges, right? No problems, just challenges. And one is that there's a limited amount of space here. 2, this is a sacred space in Williston, and what we really wanted to do was create an updated image of the library. We didn't want to overwhelm the green. We want the green to still feel like the green that everyone knows with the improvements that we talked about. So the addition is in the back. It gave us that opportunity to drop it down a half a level, keeps the roof line down as well so that it doesn't overwhelm the rest of the village and the scale of the village. Fortunately, there's a much larger building behind us, so the scale of the addition is a little bit larger, but it's right next to the school, which also has some higher spaces there with the gymnasiums and the auditorium right there across the road. As far as materials are concerned, a lot of this is a white clapboard addition, much like what you see here, though the old part of the building that we're sitting in here right now is also brick, so there's a mix of brick and clapboards, and we're going to maintain that with the new proposal. So I think in that respect, we've tried very hard to maintain the green And as you drive by on the main road here, looking in, you're going to see the green as you're mostly used to seeing it. The building will be kind of peeking out through the trees at everyone as they drive along the road or walk along the sidewalks here, which get a lot of views here in Williston.
And also, this is a real exciting time for Williston. You know, as we've seen our community grow and welcome new residents, welcome new commercial spaces, this is a real opportunity for the community to consider investing in our community civic infrastructure. And the town hasn't looked at a project of this scale and scope, I think, really in its history. And this type of particular need and filling that for by our people of our community, for people of our community, and visitors to our community. So it's a really great opportunity to look at investing in this space.
Speaking of investing in the space, are there any other ways that people who are very passionate about this project can invest in you guys or show their support?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think we talked about the capital campaign a little earlier, and Kevin's helping support that effort.
Yeah, and you can go to willistonlibraryproject.org to learn more about the project, and also if you're interested in making a contribution.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit. Yeah, awesome. I'm trying to think of anything.
Did you want to take the camera outside and maybe take a look at some of the space?
So I'd like to say one more thing about the cozy issue that you brought up earlier, Kevin, which from the beginning, as we thought about this project, and we were thinking about how to do that, is we felt that the upstairs portion, so as you come in the front door, there's going to be the reception desk or the circulation desk in the lobby, and you'll be able to go up just a half a level and get right into the existing building. But you can go up the full flight of stairs there, and you're on the second floor, which is going to be the main book collections. But we kept the eave down a little bit lower there so that you're going to get a sense of the sloped ceiling in that space. And we've got some dormers, and so those are going to naturally create these small, cozy spaces up there that I think people are used to in this building, even though it's a much larger addition.
Overall, it's a $14.5 million project. We've had our professional estimates and looking at the project, and we feel that that's the project cost. We're looking at an authorization for bonds to sell bonds, take on debt of $13.9 million. So the town is allocated about $600,000 towards the project from different reserves that it has. So this bond to consider on town meeting day is $13.9 million. That assumes we don't raise a penny from the capital campaign. It's a really conservative estimate for what we need. We want to make sure we have the authority for the full project budget built in here. And overall, to pay for that bond, we're probably looking at about $10 a month for the median assessed homeowner in town and new tax allocation that would come in over a couple of years.
If I could mention as well, Erik, that the cost, it seems like a very large number, we all know that, but it does include not only the construction costs, but there are a lot of other costs associated with a major project like this that we need to make sure is in the budget. Things like design fees, engineering fees, hazardous materials removal, equipment, the 3D printer that we don't have right now. There's insurance that's involved with this as well. There's you have to test the concrete during construction, and so those are all costs that are associated with the project that are all included in here. And in addition to that, there is a contingency, which is an incredibly important component of any of these budgets, because it allows you to find things when you start to dig holes on this site, that if you find something that you weren't expecting, you've got actually an ability to deal with that without going over budget or having to reduce the scope of the project.
So in general, as we looked at how to renovate this building, we wanted to try to keep as many of the existing functions that we could in place, because that keeps the costs down as well. So what we've got here, where the existing circulation desk is going to be a secondary office space on this side of the library to help as a guidepost or a place where staff can be useful to patrons. The computer area over here is going to stay just the way it is. This will be a secondary exit, really, not an entrance at all, but it will have control point right opposite the door as you come in. The existing adult collection area is going to get renovated a fair amount, because as you look down through there and out the bay window at the far end, is where the connection to the new addition will be. And you'll have an option of either going down a half a flight or up a half a flight of stairs to get to whichever floor. If you go down, that will continue into the lobby and out the front door of the building. The new create space is going to be right here on this portion of the building. That will be front and center, close to the windows, something that people can see. As you can see, as you look around here, there is a lot of display space in this library. And for those of us who have lived here for a while, we know that this is an extremely nice feature of the library. For one thing, every year in May, there's the school art classes all get to display stuff. So almost every student in Williston has had something on display in this library over the years. There's a gallery along the wall as we go down this way that has a tremendous variety of different collections that are displayed here over time. There's some amazing photography, watercolors, oil paintings, you name it. That's where we go. To our right here is the access to the courtyard. With the new addition, you will not see the school opposite there, and this will be a fully enclosed courtyard. But it will maintain pretty much exactly its current shape. As we move further down here, here's the current living room, right, Kevin?
That's right.
And it's right in the middle, so we're hoping to kind of get this out of the center of the circulation areas. But we are now then into the only meeting space, the only community room in the building is over here on my left. As you can see, the mahjong players are there right now. What did you call this? This was the. This will be the wiggle room. This will be the wiggle room to over here, and here's the pre-readers area here right now, are in this space. And the children's area is over beyond the display case here. That will remain the children's area, so that we are, again, trying to minimize the renovations that are having to happen here. And I think that pretty much wraps up the kind of the scope of the renovations, in addition to new energy efficient lighting, new energy efficient heating, and whatnot, that will also be taking place. So from this view, just in front of the existing front door, you'll be able to look towards the school through some open plaza areas for some outdoor spaces for outdoor activities. And you'll be able to see then the end of the community room spaces, which are going to be straight in front of us, and in a spot where it's very convenient to the parking, and also arranged such that you can use that while the library is closed, so that that will become a very, very frequently used space, I believe. So if we walk down this direction, again, this is the parking that I mentioned earlier that is not going to be there anymore, so that you don't have to back into the roadway here. Right, so again, you can see the back of the adult collection area, and beyond it is the back of the children's room. And our addition is going to extend all the way across there. And it includes a similar gallery like we saw inside before. There will be another gallery that connects these two wings on this side, so that when you come in the front door and you want to go to the children's area, you don't have to walk all the way around through the building, but you can go directly there. And you can see right here, here's where the ground slopes down, that 4 or 5 feet, which allows you to drop the building down, have it not be such a high profile ridgeline. And it fills in the portion of the green here, which is, I think, less obvious from the road, and probably is going to therefore make it feel like there's less of an impact on the green, which was a really, really important factor as we looked at how to design this building. If we move down this way, there's some stormwater treatment areas here right next to the driveway from the school, and our parking lot will be right on the edge of that. And from that parking lot, you'll be able to turn and look directly at the front doors of the new addition.
Our friends keep their book sale books down here, and then we have part of the collection down here in storage because we run out of space upstairs. So we have like these books are down here because we don't have room upstairs, but we don't want to get rid of them. So we come down and get them when people want them. So.
You know, Kevin, the other thing that's included in this project is the Library of Things.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh,
which also is currently it's stored down here because we don't have a space for it. But upstairs, or in the plan, there's actually a plan to bring it out so the public can browse it. But right now, all of our Library of Things, like our cake pans or our telescope or frisbee golf discs, we come down here and get it for people.
I love a library of things. That is incredible. Well, it will be housed, I'm assuming, in the main space.
Yes. Yeah, it'll be. Yep. There's a specific space for it upstairs. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So this used to be the kids' room. You can see the edges of the mural that was here when it was the kids' space in the '60s.
Wow.
So.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Different times.
Let's see, I'm 6 feet, so it's about 6'9".
Yeah. Definitely not to code anymore. So.
Right, it's barely taller than the doorway.
Awesome. Yeah. National Geographic.
Yeah, we have some stuff down here.
There is a monster in the basement.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. I was gonna say it's a tight space, it's hard to get B-roll down here, but I got perfect stuff. This is really good to show people.
Yeah.
The space is...
Encourage everyone in the community to vote either at town meeting day or vote early, starting in early February on this project. It's a really important project to consider for Williston.